So, I think sometimes it's easy for us, and it's part of the beauty of fandom that we zoom in on a moment and we're still mad the Yankees didn't bring in this free agent or make that trade or go get that guy. We do know the Yankees' whole front office also still has... Oh, my God, my voice ran out.
Thousands of hours, so it keeps going when you need it most. And 225 pound-feet of torque is what's going to allow this SUV to tackle those bigger, more ambitious adventures. Everything so you can go rogue.
Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. Get 0% APR on the 2026 Nissan Rogue, Murano, or 2025 Nissan Pathfinder for well-qualified buyers. For J.D. Power 2025 US IQS award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Example: 0 down payment, 60 months financing at $1,667 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary, subject to in-mat credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 3/2/26.
The big game is here, and now you can trade on football legally nationwide on Kalshi. Right now, New England is trading at 32% to beat Seattle. A $100 trade pays out $289. Use code FAN to get $20 when you trade $100. KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade on anything.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Get breaking sports news here. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, an Odyssey sports station. It's time for You Better You Bet on the Fan with your host, Nick Kostos.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry Super Bowl Sunday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet on the Fan. Nick Kostos here with you, talking all things Super Bowl Sunday for the next 60 minutes. You absolutely have to love it in the National Football League. You can hit me up on all social channels I'm not on TikTok, but all the normal ones, Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up on social at the Kostos, THE, KOSTOS, the YouTube page, youtube.com/at the Kostos, youtube.com/at the Kostos, THE, KOSTOS. Tons of content there from all my shows at Radio Row this week. Got back late Friday night in San Francisco doing shows for our friends at Westwood One Sports. The show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The phone number to chime in on bets, on fantasy, on the Super Bowl, 888-808-1019, 888-808-1019. All right, you know how we do. Nick Kostos and you, each and every NFL Sunday morning here on The Fan. Side total and props for every game on the board in the fastest show in all of wagertainment. Bring it up, Rami. Oh, baby. Are you ready for football? Football. The Super Bowl. And the show begins right now. And it begins with gratitude from me to you. Another season in the books. Well, not for another 57 minutes. But another season pretty much in the books here. NFL season number 7 for yours truly. NFL Sunday mornings. You better you bet here on The Fan. I start every You Better You Bet on WFAN in week number 1. Week 1 Sunday morning, which last year, 2025, was Sunday morning, September 7th. I start every single season, You Better You Bet here on The Fan, exactly the same way. By telling you, the audience, the great listeners, the great viewers of this legacy sports radio station, how much it means to me to occupy this real estate. And that is never lost on me. Never. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New York sports fan. I always will be. And I grew up listening to this station. Like I know what 100% of this audience, 98% of the audience, I'm just like you in that regard. I grew up listening to this radio station. So the fact that I get space on NFL Sundays on The Fan. And look, I do lots of cool stuff over the course of my career. I've done lots of cool stuff. I do lots of cool things. But this is really special. Being on WFAN is really special. At any point, being on WFAN on NFL Sundays is among the coolest things in the history of my life. Almost 43 years on this planet. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're listening right now or however you're consuming the content on the radio, the Odyssey app, wherever it is that you're listening. You know, if you're watching the show on YouTube, shout out to you on the WFAN YouTube page. I appreciate everybody. Even the haters and losers. Of honestly, like usually the joke is of which there are many, there actually aren't that many. Like, I feel like the vast majority of feedback I get, occasionally you get a negative, which is fine. Those people help pay my bills also. And look, and I'll say to all the people that listen to and hate watch the show, I have booked an extremely expensive vacation for my family coming up this offseason. It's booked. It's done. Thanks in part to you. To the haters and losers, I love you. Thank you very much. So thank you very much to everybody that has checked out the show. I appreciate all the kind messages that I get. And I'll just say, and I say this a lot on the show, right? I can't control whether or not the bets win or whether or not my fantasy advice comes to fruition. The one thing that I can control is that the show is good. And I think based on the feedback that I get, and look, I'm a pretty harsh critic of myself, I feel like we've done a pretty good job this season. So thank you to everybody. I'm looking forward to season number 8 coming up week 1 later this September in the National Football League here on the FAM. But that is the story for September. Today is a story for Sunday, February 8th, year of our Lord, 2026. Better known to you and yours as Super Bowl Sunday. A high holy day, perhaps the high holy day on the sports calendar. Because we, dear listener, we, dear viewer, we collectively stand on the precipice of history. A Lombardi being raised, a champion being crowned. And if you're of a certain age, you're around my age, right? Again, I turn 43 later this year. 42 years old at this moment right now. I'm guessing you probably remember. And this is always the first thing that I think when we get to Super Bowl week, and especially on Super Bowl Sunday. And maybe I'll lose some of you with this. Maybe you're a little younger. Maybe you're not even aware that this was a thing. And certainly in the internet and the social media age, like this would never be how you would consume content. But if you're around my age or older, then I know that you remember that ESPN back in the day used to run Super Bowl week, and certainly on Super Bowl Sunday, the marathon of the half-hour NFL films, like highlight packages, storyline packages, narrated packages of each and every Super Bowl game. And I used to sit there as a young boy and watch all of them in a row. And it was there that a young Nick Kostos, a young you, whoever the hell you are, were introduced to Star and the Packers. Maybe that's where you got introduced to Broadway Joe and the Jets, to the undefeated Miami Dolphins in 72 and going back in 73, the dynastic Pittsburgh Steelers, the 85 Bears, the 86 Giants, the dynastic San Francisco 49ers. And even as a kid, as a small boy or a small girl, whoever's watching and whoever's listening, you knew that this was something special and that it meant something. The Super Bowl in the National Football League. And as the years have worn on, as Steely Dan would say, are you reeling in the years? We have seen Stone Away the Tide. The great band, great song. We have seen more legendary games and more dynastic teams. How about Super Bowl 32? Broncos over Packers. This one's for John. 36, the first Patriots win. When people forget, the Patriots were the baby faces going into that game. The Rams were the big heels. And when Vinatieri made that cake, I feel like the nation celebrated. Oh, how the tables have turned there with the New England Patriots. Of course, 42 and 46 with my and your New York Football Giants beating Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the Patriots. We saw a Patriots dynasty, a Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. So here's my question for everybody right now. And it leads into today's game, Super Bowl 60. Is it possible that the best Super Bowl of them all, out of the 59 that have been played, halted a potential dynasty, launched another dynasty, and forever altered the way that we view history in the National Football League? I think it is possible. Because a little over 11 years ago, February 1st, year of our Lord, 2015, in Glendale, Arizona, which was the site, of course, of New England's Super Bowl 42 undefeated loss to Eli Manning and our New York Football Giants. But on that day in Glendale, February 1st, 2015, the New England Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, 28-24. Now, for me, as a Giants fan, you'll never get me to say that I like any Super Bowls more than really 42 and 25. 46 also is a great game, but listen, like 42 was the first one with this Giants team as an adult for me. You'll never get me to say those aren't my favorites, but if we can be objective, right, and we can take fandom out of the equation, then we have to acknowledge that Super Bowl 49, if it's not the best Super Bowl that's ever been played, it is absolutely on the short list of best Super Bowls ever played. The Seattle Seahawks leading that game 24-14 in the fourth quarter. Before, as was his wont, Tom Brady engineering 2 late touchdown drives to take the lead, one to Danny Amendola, one to Julian Edelman, to give New England a 28-24 advantage. New England would withstand an epic final drive, which, like, if you go back and watch, it's a great final drive by Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, aided by a circus catch by Jermaine Kearse. The Seahawks get all the way down to 2nd and goal from the 1 in the closing moments, and then we get one of the most famous or infamous, depending on your viewpoint, plays in the history of sports, as Seattle declines to run the ball with Marshawn Lynch, throws it instead, not even to one of their best receivers, to Ricardo Lockett, and Malcolm Butler etches his name in Super Bowl lore with a championship-clinching interception. And as a result, the Patriots became Super Bowl champions. And I feel like as the years have gone on, and it hasn't been that many, I feel like we collectively have forgot about the circumstances heading into that game and what was actually at stake in the closing moments of Super Bowl 49. And we can remember now as these two teams, the Seahawks and the Patriots, get set to play later today in Super Bowl 60. Because at that point, Super Bowl 49, the Patriots had gone 10 years in between Super Bowl championships. And if you're a younger fan, even if you're an older fan, it's possible you have forgotten this, that the conversation was, are the New England Patriots ever going to win another Super Bowl with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? Because after the 3 and 4 years to start off the whole dynasty, 36 against the Rams, 38 against the Panthers, 39 against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Patriots had that run of getting bounced in the postseason. 0-5 in Denver in the divisional round. The Champ Bailey, Ben Watson play. Blowing a 21-3 lead in 2006 in Indianapolis in the AFC Championship game. Obviously losing to the Giants in 2007 and 2011. Tom Brady torn ACL week 1, Bernard Pollard in 2008. 2009 get trampled by Ray Rice, Willis McGahee, Joe Flacco, and the Baltimore Ravens. 2010, 14-2, Tom Brady MVP, but guess who's coming to town like Santa Claus? Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez, Bart Scott. Can't wait. And the New York Jets. 2012, the Baltimore Ravens hand them that ass on a silver platter. And 2013, losing in Denver to Peyton Manning and the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. And perhaps you've forgotten the scenes in the Patriots locker room after Super Bowl 46, losing again to the Giants. And if you remember, and I do because I was there in Indianapolis for that Super Bowl, covering it for NFL radio, the final play of the game, a Tom Brady Hail Mary where Jason Pierre-Paul literally, like rock bottom, Matt Lighted threw him out of the way and almost got to Tom Brady. And Brady uncorks the pass, and it is almost caught after a tie. Rob Gronkowski would have been the greatest play in the history of sports. I don't know if I would have survived if Gronk had caught that pass. It falls incomplete, and Brady, crestfallen, walking off the field after another Super Bowl loss, forced to confront reality that he's been denied another chance to win a championship. Down by 10 in Super Bowl 49, with another Super Bowl defeat staring him and Bill Belichick directly in the eyes, and he stared it down. 2 touchdowns to take the lead. And of course, they would go on to win Super Bowls 51 and 53 as well. 6 in the Brady-Belichick era. And by the way, because I don't know if I've given my opinion on WFAN at least on this. Bill Belichick absolutely should have been in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And this was something that a lot of people at Radio Row in San Fran were very, very angry about this week. And I'm talking current players, current coaches, Hall of Famers that I spoke to on the record, off the record. No one is happy with the Hall of Fame's decision. What happens if the Patriots lose that game? How is history forever changed? And on the Seattle side, the year before, here at MetLife Stadium, a dominant Super Bowl victory over Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 48. Playing for back-to-back Super Bowl championships. And literally on the goal line to make it happen with one of the great battering ram running backs in the history of football in Marshawn Lynch. And what happens there, not hyperbole, not overstating, not being dramatic when I say this, the single worst play call in the history of football, period, to throw that ball. And Pete Carroll defended it after the game while chewing on gum like it owed him money. Going to town on that piece of gum. Defending it. Yeah, we'd do it again. You would? Lost the chance to be back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And what happens if the Seahawks win? That team gets elevated to legendary status as opposed to one-and-done status. And banners are still banners, and you can't take them down. They were Super Bowl champions. But think about what was lost in that moment. Lost to history and gained in history by Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And now we fast forward to today. And I will give you all the bets. We're going to go through side. We're going to go through total. We're going to go through props. I'm going to give you everything. We're going to analyze all the big players in the game. But for now, we got to talk some stories. We're going to talk some history. Because for the Seattle Seahawks, the chance exists today for Sam Darnold, the former Jet, to etch his name in football immortality. And if the Seahawks win this game today, and if Sam Darnold plays at least decently well, he is the modern-day Jim Plunkett. And for the younger fans that don't know who Jim Plunkett is, Jim Plunkett, the number 1 overall pick in 1971, won a Heisman Trophy at Stanford. Now, Darnold didn't win the Heisman at USC, but you'll get where I'm going with this. Plunkett, the number 1 overall pick in the 1971 NFL Draft, washes out of New England, no winning seasons, called a bust, goes to San Francisco, misses an entire year, languishes as a backup quarterback, goes to the Raiders. Dan Pastorini gets hurt. He comes in 1980 and leads the Raiders to championships in Super Bowls 15 and 18 and completely flips the script on a career where people thought he was a bust. And now we fast forward to present day, where Sam Darnold, the 3rd overall pick in 2018 to the New York Jets, 3 underwhelming seasons for Sam Darnold as the quarterback of Gangrene. A backup stint in San Francisco. Carolina Panthers as well, with Baker Mayfield in that quarterback room and Matt Rule as the head coach. 14 wins last year in Minnesota, 14 wins this year in Seattle. He has flipped the script on everything as far as his career is concerned. Absolutely, absolutely awesome. Now look, as far as Sam Darnold is concerned, it's not over yet. Would it surprise anyone, Giants fans, that you're not going to like this, if Sam Darnold went Kerry Collins in Super Bowl 35 on us and threw 1 million interceptions and turned the football over? And the story that I always tell, and I told it to some old Giants and Ravens this week at Radio Row, was my late father, God rest his soul, turned to me, first play of Super Bowl 35, camera zooms in on Kerry Collins' face, and my dad turns to me and goes, I'll never forget, it was such an odd expression. My dad goes, his eyes are as wide as dinner plates. We're screwed. And indeed they were. 34-7 loss in Super Bowl 35 to the Baltimore Ravens. So Sam Darnold's not out of the woods yet. It wouldn't shock anyone, right, if he went Kerry Collins here and turned the ball over 1 million times. But for now, he is the favorite to win MVP. He is the quarterback of the favorite team in Super Bowl 60. 60 minutes away from immortality for slinging Sammy Darnold. What a thought with the way his career started with the New York Jets. And then Mike McDonald, the second-year head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. After just 2 years as the defensive coordinator for John Harbaugh in Baltimore. And at the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about John Harbaugh's new offensive coordinator with the Giants and why I think Giants fans, all the Giants fans out there, it's not all of you, but we have become collectively as Giants fans such a sensitive fan base, I actually think it's pathetic. It's sad that this is what we've degenerated to as a fan base. We are sensitive. Everyone gets their feelings hurt. All you want to do is wave your blue pom-poms. It's pathetic. And we'll touch on it at the end of the show. But back to Mike Macdonald on the cusp of a Super Bowl championship, being called the defensive Sean McVay. And think about one of the reasons why Mike Macdonald is hired, right? In that division in the NFC West, because he can stop Kyle Shanahan's offense, because he can stop Sean McVay's offense, and he's done an incredible job in just 2 seasons, taking over an underachieving Seahawks defense and molding them into one of the best defenses in the league, molding them into absolute monsters. And if Seattle wins this game today, he goes down in history already as one of the best defensive coaches in the history of the National Football League. For Jackson Smith-Njigba, Kendrick Bourne, San Francisco 49ers receiver, told me on Radio Row this week that JSN is the best receiver in the league. Already. Better than Jamar Chase. Better than Justin Jefferson. That ain't me telling you this. That's one of his peers telling you that. That's how good JSN is. What if he shows up and shows out today? What if he balls out? What if he wins Super Bowl MVP? Hall of Fame trajectory for Jackson Smith-Njigba. So much on the line. And for the New England Patriots and Robert Kraft. I mean, Kraft should be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he needs to go on the first ballot, but I mean, to be the owner of a team that wins the Super Bowl years after Brady and Belichick are gone, pretty unbelievable stuff. And Jets fans, you won't like this, but we have to tell the truth. This team gonna be good for a long time. Now, think about most really good teams in the NFL, especially with really good young quarterbacks, right? Like Drake May. And also just Giants fans who Tommy DeVito, it's so great. Wow, Italian hand motions and chicken cutlets, and how great is that? You know what would be better than all of that? If Drake May were the Giants quarterback. Could have happened. But you moron Giants fans, gotta win this game against Green Bay. And now waving the pom-poms for Matt Nagy like the Giants just hired Bill Walsh. Anyway, what you usually see is the offensive coordinator and a play caller for a young quarterback like Drake May that succeeded like this, almost winning NFL Most Valuable Player, that OC bounces and becomes a head coach. I don't guarantee a lot of things in life. One thing I'll guarantee for everybody is that Josh McDaniels is not getting another head coaching job. He has been so bad as a head coach in 2 stops now, in Denver and in Vegas. He'll be the offensive coordinator in New England for as long as he wants to be. And that is bad news for the Jets, for the Bills, for the Dolphins, and the rest of the AFC, and the rest of the NFL. And you got Mike Vrabel, Super Bowl champion, obviously as a player with the Patriots. How about the Titans fired Mike Vrabel to hire Brian Callahan? I mean, you want to talk like the Jets get killed for being a bad organization, the Browns get killed for being a bad organization. The Titans are like, man, hold my beer, watch this. What a bunch of jokers. And then they hired Robert Saleh. You can make your jokes, Jets fans, if you'd like. What a job by Mike Vrabel. And their free agent splurge worked, and normally you don't see this. But they spent a ton of money this offseason, and it's all come up aces. Whether it's Milton Williams, stud in the middle of the defensive line, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis, Stephon Diggs. All of it paying off. And if they win this game today, the New England Patriots, Drake May, like Tom Brady, will quarterback a Super Bowl winning team in year number 2. We, dear listener, we, dear viewer, hours away from history being written. Do you love it? Or do you love it? We'll take a break. And on the other side, all the bets for Super Bowl 60 that your little heart could possibly handle. I'm going to give you my opinion on the side I'm going to give you my opinion on the total. We'll roll through yardage props, novelty props, anytime touchdowns, as I conceptualize for you how I see Super Bowl 60 playing out. It's all coming up next. You Better You Bet on the Fan with me, Nick Kostos, and you, whoever the hell you are, presented by our friends at BetMGM.
The home of Super Bowl 60 on Westwood One is WFAN.
Jackson Smith in Jigba with a diving two-hand catch for 6.
The Patriots will face the Seahawks for the Lombardi Trophy in Santa Clara today.
To the end zone! Touchdown, Patriots!
Get insight and the latest breaking news about the biggest game of the year here. The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always playing on the iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Odyssey apps.
History's masterpieces wouldn't be the same without their most notable accents. Neither would the Kia Sportage without its multiple drive modes. The Kia Sorento without its expansive 12.3-inch panoramic display. Or the Kia Telluride without its 3 rows of spacious seating. The Kia SUVs. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Limited inventory available.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Town Fair Tire honors any valid rebates, manufacturers or competitors' rebates. Yes, even any competitors' rebates. And we give you the guaranteed lowest price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
All right, they won. You gotta text your buddies. Except you're driving. If you have to respond, pull over. Texting and driving is illegal and could lead to an accident. A safety message from the Rothenberg Law Firm. InjuryLawyer.com.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every moment of Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes. Here's how it works. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and get your promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're in. And every live bet means another shot to win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WFAN. That's code WFAN. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with code WFAN. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. 21 and over. New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets or single use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming Inc.
For 100 years, London Jewelers has been part of life's most meaningful moments. From engagements and anniversaries to milestones, big and small, they've helped mark the moments that matter most to their customers. Generations of families have trusted London Jewelers for exceptional craftsmanship, timeless design, and service that lasts a lifetime. As they celebrate a century of excellence, they thank you for being a part of their story, and they look forward to the moments still to come. They invite you to visit London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations. London Jewelers, celebrating 100 years of brilliance.
I'm Tyler Kolek, and I got my Lincoln right here at Lincoln of Queens. Smooth ride, no hassle. They even delivered it right to my door. When it's time to save, it's time to go to Lincoln of Queens. During our month-long President's Day sale, you can save up to $8,000 off MSRP on all remaining 2025 Lincoln Navigators. Over 20 to choose.
On select models. Excludes tax, title, and MV fees. See dealer for details. Expires March 3rd.
Lincoln of Queens, where Queens goes. Go New York, go New York, go.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
It's time for You Better You Bet on The Fan with your host, Nick Kostos.
All right, the show presented by BetMGM. If you're going to bet Super Bowl 60, you really should be doing it at BetMGM. Odds boost tokens that give you more money when you win your bet. Odds flashes throughout the day today. I'm even looking at it right now. You want to bet Patriots plus 4.5? You get even money to make that bet right now at BetMGM. Seahawks minus 4.5, minus 110. There are some spots where the Seahawks are out to 5. So BetMGM literally offering the best odds right now, giving you chances to win more money on your bets. So if you are going to bet Super Bowl 60, and I think a lot of people do, obviously the most bet event of the year, you should do it at BetMGM. So the side in total right now for the big game, Seattle, a 4.5-point favorite. The total, 45.5. And that total has come down since open after Championship Sunday 2 weeks ago. I think it's possible that we will see these two numbers move a little bit. Maybe Seattle gets bet up slightly to 5. No difference really between 4.5 and 5. Games can land 5, but think about the math of the NFL. The touchdowns and field goals, what that represents. Unlikely that 5 is the number that it lands on, although it is possible, but unlikely. And as far as totals go, 45.5 smack dab in the middle of the two key numbers when we talk about totals in this range, 44 and 47. It will not go down to 44. It will not go up to 47. So we're kind of existing between those two numbers. Now, before I handicap the game, before I give you my bets, which absolutely don't have to win, and I say that every single week, important to note this, because this, honestly, more so than like any day the entire year in sports, this is the day that a lot of people like to put a lot of money down on one game. And I'm going to give you a bet for the coin toss in a little bit here. Like that, for instance, is a stupid bet. It's a dumb bet. It is a mathematically bad bet to bet the coin toss and to lay a vig on something that's a 50-50 proposition. But I, the person making the bet, me personally, it's an entertainment expense for me. It's a really fun bet. It's over before the game's even played. It only lasts a couple seconds. It's very exciting. And that's how I choose to look at it. So if you're out there listening or watching, and like no one tells me to say this, like BetMGM does not tell me to say this, Odyssey does not tell me to say this, I'm telling you as someone that's bet on sports for over 20 years that this is how you should bet Super Bowl Sunday. Or base any day that you want to bet sports. Any of the 365 days a year. But especially today because there are going to be a lot of bets put down on this game. When you think about all the bets that you're going to want to place, just consider what happens. And I know we always want to think, oh, we're just going to win all our bets. And that's a fun way to think. What happens if you lose all of them? Because I'll put myself in, I'm not a professional bettor. If I were that good at betting, you think I'd be doing this show right now, talking to all of you this early in the morning? It's like minus 5 degrees outside. I'd be in my nice warm bed or on a yacht somewhere really, really warm. So if we're not pros, right, that doesn't mean we can't win. But what it means is that you should gamble responsibly. So if you're going to put 10 bets in today, let's say it's more, let's say it's less, like, what is the amount of money that you could lose today where you put your head on the pillow tonight and you sleep easily? And don't gamble more than that. Because I know like the excitement is crazy and like I'm about to get really excited to talk about the Super Bowl and all the bets I have. Don't get caught up Please, please, please gamble responsibly. I promise the feeling of losing, as someone who's been there, is way worse than the good feeling it comes from winning a bunch of money. So please, on this day above all others, but all of them, but this one above all others, please, 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 please gamble responsibly. And with that, let's talk about the game. So when it comes to betting, right, you have to think about things less in terms of like black and white. Like, I think this is going to absolutely happen. I like to think of things more, as Billy Joel would say, shades of gray are the colors I find. Underrated Billy Joel song off of River of Dreams. Great album. You need to think of things in terms of probability, right? So, like I said earlier, Sam Darnold could go Kerry Collins in Super Bowl 35, right? That could happen. And if that happens, like, the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. And it's not impossible that happens. But what do you think the most likely outcome is in Super Bowl 60? And you out there listening and watching, you don't have to agree with me on this, right? Just because I'm saying it doesn't mean it's right. But this is I have the microphone, right? And this is my time slot. So here's my conceptualization of the game. I think the most likely outcome is the New England Patriots really struggle to score in this game. That the Patriots have difficulty putting up a ton of points and a ton of yards on this outstanding Seattle Seahawks defense. Drake May, in 3 playoff games leading up to Super Bowl 60, has been sacked 15 times in those 3 games. And he's looked like Dave Craig at points, the former Seahawks quarterback, right? Who, before Brett Favre broke his record, held the record for most fumbles in an NFL career. Especially in the game against the Texans, right? Put the ball on the ground 1,000,000 times. And honestly, like, the Patriots got away with that in that game because C.J. Stroud played one of the worst games a quarterback's ever played in the National Football League in the history of the league. So May sacked 15 times in 3 games. Now you might say, well, look at the opposition. It's the Chargers, it's the Texans, and it's the Broncos, right? 3 really good defenses. What do you think the Seattle defense is? Like, the Seahawks defense is like just as good as those defenses. The Patriots offensive line versus the Seattle defensive front, I think, is going to be a problem for New England. And we've seen the Patriots defensive line get folded up like a steel chair in WWE. Like 3 times already in this playoffs. A rookie left tackle in Will Campbell, who might have to play guard at some point. I'm not trying to bag on the young man. It's just like, he's not Jonathan Ogden. A rookie left guard. Garrett Bradbury at center, who's a good center, but is not the biggest center in the world. And like the right side of the line with Onyewu and Moses is pretty good, but I mean, this is not like the 92 Cowboys here. And now here's the Seahawks defensive front, right? And the way Mike McDonald likes to run his defense, they don't blitz a ton, right? He plays the 2 deep safeties and rushes 4, and there's simulated pressure, and he's basically forcing the quarterback to make a decision after the snap when things are moving really fast, and his 4 down linemen, the guys that are rushing, are all absolutely awesome. So you've got, and Jets fans and Giants fans, they got the big cat, right? Leonard Williams, an absolute stud, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, just rushing up the middle. Good edge rushers as well. I think the Patriots are going to have a problem running the ball in this game. I don't think this is a game where here's Ramondre Stevenson with 120 yards and Travion Henderson, who's been on a milk carton, that Travion Henderson has although Henderson does have game-breaking speed. I don't know if I see that happening. And I know Drake May is really good with his legs, and Drake May's had success running the ball. The Seahawks, by and large, this year have not been a team that have allowed quarterbacks to run for a ton of yards on them. So I don't think this is going to be a game where the Patriots run the ball with a ton of success. I think what the New England's going to have to do in this game is to throw the ball quite a bit if they want to hang in this game, if they want to win Super Bowl 60. And maybe it's possible that Drake May gets it done, right? And he slices and dices the Seattle defense, and he, joins football immortality with the Seattle. He doesn't go the way of Marino, losing in year 2, or Joe Burrow in year 2, and he wins the Lombardi like Ben Roethlisberger did, like Tom Brady did in year number 2. I don't see that happening. Drake May, and you can look at the defenses they've played and acknowledge that they're good, and I'm not being a hater here. You listen to the show, you've watched the show throughout the season. You watch, and you should, to my weekday show, Westwood One Sports, You Better You Bet, 9 a.m. to noon. You watched the show last year. You know I'm a huge Drake May fan. I always say, who's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL? It's gonna be May. I'm not a Drake May hater. But we have to tell the truth, right? We tell the truth on this show. Drake May has not been good in this postseason run. He has had individual moments of brilliance, like the naked bootleg to seal the AFC Championship win in the snow in Denver. Like, I think he's a really good quarterback. I don't think he sucks. That's not what I'm saying at all. But he has not been great in this playoffs. And people get really sensitive when you say that. Oh, my God, how could you say that? Well, because he hasn't, because we watch the games. We can tell the truth. He hasn't been great. And now here's Mike Macdonald and the Seattle Seahawks defense. And think about the way we talk about Mike Macdonald. He's like the defensive McVay, like the defensive Kyle Shanahan. We don't think he's going to have a game plan cooked up here for the New England Patriots. And I love me some Josh McDaniels. I think McDaniels is a brilliant offensive coordinator. But I think the players on the other side for the Seattle defense are better than the players that Drake May has around him on the New England offense. So I don't really see the Patriots scoring a ton in this game. And some people think the game could get loose late, and we did see that, right, in Super Bowl 49, 24-14 with moments to go. Game going to go under the total. Here's 2 late Patriots touchdowns at the very end. 52 points scored in that game, 28-24. And I don't want to turn this into like a Drake May, Tom Brady comparison thing, but like I don't think that's happening here with Drake May in season number 2 against the Seattle Seahawks defense. So my sense is Patriots aren't going to score a lot. Seattle will hold a lead, build a lead, and hold a lead, and Boa constrictor the game. And Mike Macdonald is a pretty conservative head coach, and we've seen that throughout the balance of the season. Kicks field goals, loves to punt, doesn't go for it on a ton of fourth downs. So I think Seattle's basically going to try and get this lead and sit on the lead and play defense, and they're not going to be ultra aggressive. It's not really their MO. And that takes me to the side and the total. Now, if you're someone out there and you're listening or you're watching right now and you're thinking, well, this side's wrong, the total's wrong. Like, you're wrong. This is maybe the sharpest market that exists, period, the entire year. It's been out there for 2 weeks. Millions upon millions upon millions of dollars have been bet into this market. The side and total are right. It doesn't mean that the Patriots can't win by 10 or there can't be 80 points scored in the game. Just that, we're probably right on here, right, with the side and the total. And I'll be honest, I've got some strong thoughts on props. I would say that my thoughts on the side and the total are not tremendously strong, but it's the Super Bowl, so I'll bet them. I'll lay the Seattle Seahawks. I will lay the 4.5 with Seattle. I think Seattle wins by, let's say, 10 to 14 points. Want to call it 27-13, somewhere in that range. And the under 45.5. I think the total's going to go up, maybe a smidge before kickoff. Maybe we get to 46. So Seahawks and the under for yours truly. And if you're out there listening and you're thinking, well, Kostos says Seahawks and the under, the Patriots and the over it is, good luck and Godspeed, you might be right. Seahawks and the under for me, based on my handicap of the game, which, again, I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to score a ton. I think the Seahawks will try and not make mistakes, and I think that the talent gap between these two teams will manifest itself as the game moves along. And unlike Super Bowl 49, when Tom Brady led the Patriots back from a double-digit deficit, I don't think Drake May does that, and Seattle wins, let's say, fairly comfortably, wins the second Super Bowl championship in franchise history, and the game goes under the total. As far as props are concerned, MVP. Jackson Smith and Jigba seems to be the popular choice, and listen, I'll never get caught. I'm popular. That's a deep cut, man. JSN plus 500 MVP. Where, again, think about the game state that I have laid out. And you could think it goes differently, right? Seattle wins the 27-13, somewhere in that range, which probably means Sam Darnold's not throwing for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. It won't be like the NFC Championship game, 346-3. They have to win 31-27. Where if Seattle wins a game like that, Darnold may not win MVP. Maybe JSN goes for 100 receiving yards. We'll talk about his prop coming up in a moment. And Rami, what I think is likely here, I'm probably just going to take this straight through, so let me know when you want me to wrap the show up, as we are producing on the air here, because I'm going long on this and want to make sure we get everything in. So JSN plus 500 for MVP. And if I had to give you a couple long shots for most valuable player, those long shots would be 2 members of Seattle's defense. And I want to take the 2 defensive tackles. These are small bets because they're huge prices and they're unlikely to win. Big Cat Leonard Williams, the former Jet, the former Giant, 150-1 at BetMGM. And Byron Murphy at 200-1. 2 stud interior defensive tackles that I think could absolutely wreck this game. And I want to give a tip of the cap to Ryan Reynolds, not the actor, but the guy, he covers awards for my friends at Establish the Run. He wrote up Byron Murphy, he wrote up Byron Murphy. And I love that thought on Byron Murphy potentially winning MVP. So yes, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy. Small bets on them to win Super Bowl MVP, but JSN, my favorite bet to win Most Valuable Player of the Super Bowl. And if it's the Patriots, I think it's basically just Drake May. I guess maybe Marcus Jones could be a look, just because he could break the game on special teams, maybe have an interception of Sam Darnold. So if it's not Drake May, I would look at Marcus Jones for the Patriots. But again, I like Seattle to win, so I'm not betting any Patriots to win MVP. As far as yardage props go, here's what I'm going to do, and regular props for the game. I'm going to give you my bets at the end, but I want to give you some bets that I've gotten over the course of the week from professional bettors, from people that do this really, really, really well. Guests that I have on my show, people that I've talked to off air. So here are some bets from the pros that I deal with. First up, my buddy Rob Pizzola, who's a professional sports bettor. He comes on my show every single week. He does content for The Hammer, is his content company. You can find them on YouTube. He liked, when he came on my show on Thursday, live at Radio Row, A.J. Barner, over 24.5 receiving yards. And I kind of like this thought, the Seahawks tight end. Barner played like almost 100% of the snaps in the NFC Championship game. And if he's going to play that many snaps, then this number is probably a little low for A.J. Barner receiving yards. How about my buddy Ken Barkley, my former co-host on You Better You Bet? He actually did not come on my show, even though I talk to him all the time. He went on my buddy Rob's prop stream, and he thinks that we could see some interceptions in this game from the 2 quarterbacks. And shout out to Ken. Follow him on Twitter, at Lockie Lockerson. He's the best. Where Drake May is minus 140 to throw a pick, Sam Darnold's minus 135. You could same game parlay it, get to plus 240. I think Drake May is more likely to throw a pick. I think the Patriots are going to have to throw a ton. Minus 140 is a bit of a juicy price to lay if you can find a better price, even though I want you to gamble at BetMGM. Perhaps consider doing that. And then my buddy, pro sports bettor Joey Knish, who is an absolute character. He comes on my show every week during football season. He liked Drake May under 5.5 rushing yards in the first quarter, which sounds crazy, like a wild bet. Like, why would you place that bet? Thought being that the first quarter is generally a really cagey quarter, right? And maybe you won't see like a lot of, nutty things happen, like a design run for Drake May, and maybe May decide to stay in the pocket and things won't get loose until later in the game. So again, the bets from 3 of the people I respect the most: Barner over receiving yards. However you want to bet the quarterbacks to throw an interception, and Drake May under 5.5 first quarter rushing yards at BetMGM. Now here are some bets of mine. Drake May over 30.5 pass attempts. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to run the ball. Now, you might ask, well, does that mean that you want to bet Ramondre Stevenson unders? The number for Ramondre is low. It's 48.5. Maybe he gets like one big. I don't want to make that bet. The way I'd like to bet the Patriots having to throw the ball in this game would be Drake May over pass attempts. I think Drake May over 30.5 pass attempts in the game. I do think that we will see May under pressure in this game, and I think he's going to have to dump the ball down to his running backs. And look, some people think Travion Henderson can get loose in this game. He barely played in the AFC Championship game. I think that's all guesswork as it concerns Travion, and those guesses can be correct. It's just facts, not an evidence. I think Ramondre is going to be the most likely Patriot lead ball carrier in this game. He's done an excellent job in pass pro. It's the Super Bowl. So I think we'll see Ramondre on the field more. Let's go Ramondre Stevenson over 22.5 receiving yards. I also want to play Travion Henderson over 2.5 receiving yards because the Patriots are down. They're going to want to get some speed on the field. Henderson's got the game-breaking speed. Henderson over 2.5 receiving yards. Find a cheap price on that. You can also play Henderson over half a reception. I think Henderson catches at least one pass in the game. I think he gets at least 3 receiving yards in this game. Find the best price on Travion Henderson. As far as anytime touchdowns go, I want to play A.J. Barner for Seattle. It's not a big price, but A.J. Barner, anytime touchdown. We have seen the Seahawks struggle against opposing tight ends this season. Their defense is really good, but if there's one place you can attack them, it would be over the middle with the tight end. Now, Hunter Henry's receiving yards prop has gotten bet out. His anytime touchdown price has gotten bet down. So let's go to New England's backup tight end, Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper, anytime touchdown for the Patriots. And then, I was talking to a former general manager this week. It's kind of a humble brag. Off air. And this former NFL GM, who will remain nameless, was telling me that, he's a little concerned about, Zach Charbonnet not playing for Seattle and Kenneth Walker holding up in the run game for an entire game, right? Because they don't trust the Seahawks' George Holani, the backup running back, the way they did Charbonnet. But this person did acknowledge that Holani is going to play in this game because you can't play one running back the entire game. So why don't we play the guy behind the guy? And instead of playing Kenneth Walker to score a touchdown, let's play George Holani to score a touchdown. Ariel's brother. So Barner, Hooper, Holani, anytime touchdowns. Please, please, please gamble responsibly. I bet the coin toss every year because it's fun. Is it a stupid bet? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Do I care what you think? No. And tails never fails. Unless that son of a bitch does. So I'm betting tails on the coin toss because I do it every single year and hopefully it goes well. So I have bet tails on the coin toss. As far as the national anthem goes, this is a bet that basically exists for 2 weeks, and then the Friday before the Super Bowl, word of the rehearsal starts to get leaked, and the number gets absolutely blasted. So this was, just for reference, on Friday, about 124 and a half seconds for the national anthem, which will be sung by Charlie Puth, most famously known for the song about when Paul Walker died. It's been a long day without you, my friend. It's a good song, right? Rest in peace, Paul Walker. This number was 124 and a half. It's now 116 and a half. So news of the under basically got out. My guess, based on what I've heard, and believe me, I am guessing. If I had to bet it now, I would actually still bet the under. That is not me telling you, the person watching or listening, to go empty the 4, which you can't even do anyway, but to bet a ton of money on it. I have no idea what it's going to be, just saying. My guess would be that it still goes under. That is a guess. I bet it at a much better number that no longer exists. And I don't say that to brag, just like that's how this goes. So do whatever the hell you want with the national anthem. The Gatorade color, I'll be candid with everybody. I have no idea what it's going to be. Bet it however you want to bet it. Your guess is as good as mine. We had John Ewing from BetMGM on the show on Friday saying that, and I may be getting this wrong, but you'll understand the point that I'm trying to make, that orange is getting bet as Gatorade color for the Patriots because orange was the last Gatorade, or that was the Gatorade they had when the Patriots beat the Seahawks in 49. Like, ridiculous reason to make a bet. Maybe it's true, but has no bearing on anything. Bet the Gatorade color however you want. And those are my bets for Super Bowl 60. In the time remaining in the show, and I want to give you a couple thoughts on what we've seen from the Giants and Jets the last couple weeks. For the Giants. So I came on this show and my other shows, my million hours of content that I do every week, and said, I like the John Harbaugh hire, but I would really like Todd Monken to come with him. So Todd Monken gets hired by the Cleveland Browns as their head coach. So the Giants pivot to Matt Nagy. Now hear me, what I'm saying, Giants fans. Listen to what I'm saying carefully, because I know that you're like, I don't know how this happened and we became such a sensitive fan base. Listen to what I'm saying right now. I'm not saying Matt Nagy won't work. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, if Jackson Dart is really good, and he might be, I'll say, I don't love how he's like the social media quarterback with the influencer girlfriend. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm a boomer. Whatever. Just my opinion. I'm confident that Jackson Dart, at the very least, is good. Maybe he's very good. Maybe he's great. And if he's very good and if he's great, it's not going to matter who's calling plays because the quarterback's awesome. And Matt Nagy's going to get another head coaching job if that's the case. And he won't be the coordinator past this year. So if Dart's awesome, it's not going to matter. But the fact that Nagy, to me, is not an inspired hire, and that's not just me saying this. I talked to former players, former coaches on Radio Row in San Fran. They agree that this is not an inspired hire by John Harbaugh, and Todd Monken would have been a better hire. I'm still optimistic that this is going to go well for the Giants. I still am. But I'm not as optimistic as I would have been if Todd Monken were the play caller. And as far as Aaron Glenn and the Jets go, He hired Frank Reich. Someone told me, I'm not reporting this, that the Gruden stuff was not true. I'm not reporting that, just something I heard. Jets players that I talked to on and off the record at Radio Row all express confidence in Aaron Glenn. Make of that what you will. I think it's going to come down to if Darren Muji nails these draft picks. I would encourage Jets fans to keep the faith. And that does it for the 2025-26 NFL season here. You better you bet on WFAN. On The Fan, I will talk to all of you. I don't know if maybe Ryan Hurley and I maybe will have some shows coming up this summer. For me, I don't know. But if not, then I will talk to you Week 1 NFL Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. You're like, oh man, Nick, that sucks. I'm not going to hear you till then. Well, actually, my national show starts in 2 hours. And I'm back tomorrow for 3 hours on Westwood One Sports. YouTube.com/@the-Kostos. Odyssey app, Westwood One app, YouTube, Twitch. You can watch on Nessun as well for people in the New England area. And on all socials, @the-Kostos, TheKostos. So until we meet again, dear listener and dear viewer, I am Nick Kostos wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, and the absolute very best of luck. Mark Malus is my good friend coming up next Football Sunday on The Fan. Let's get it today. Super Bowl 60 in the National Football League.
Looking for the best value on new tires? Get to Town Fair Tire. We honor every valid manufacturer's and competitor rebates and give you the guaranteed lowest